I told the guys, I said, we would be stupid if we don't do this. Look at who our friends are. Look at who our friends are right now. And if we don't start a gym, we'll forever regret this. I think we have to do this. It was, for me in my head, once we like made that decision, it was like, we have to. And so yeah, I never would have like even like brought it up if I didn't think it would be successful. I really did think it'd be successful. I remember George Hickman, he wanted to start small. You know, we laugh about it now. He wanted to start with like a little small thing and then grow and then grow. And I just kind of pushed it to say, hey, let's do this properly.
Really good, yeah.
And man, that was such a funny experience. Like looking back on, I still have all my old notes and everything. I've dated everything and anticipated expenses and to-do lists and, you know, all this type of stuff. You know, it's funny to look back on that stuff and see where we are now, but I did always think it'd be successful.
I reckon, like, before we start, you should tell me, like, your deepest, darkest secrets, anything that you could possibly get arrested for, anything that you don't want to say on camera.
Yeah.
Just say it now before we start.
Camera.
Huh?
I think we're on camera.
You've done this before, right? That's right. Alex Schild in the house. Welcome to Dubai. How's it going, bro?
Yeah, it's pretty good, man. Yeah, I'm enjoying it. Yeah.
Yeah? Not your first time here, right? To the land of milk and honey.
Yeah, it's fucking hot right now. But I was here once before. It was like 12, 13 years ago. Tariq Suleiman fought on Desert Force.
Desert Force, yeah.
I don't even know what's happened to Desert Force. That's still around?
I don't think so. Bro.
I remember they used to have these like big shields.
Yeah.
Know? Like, and I remember when Tariq first went to Tiger, this was like in 2000, what year are we in now? 24? This was like 2012 or something. Wow. And he was just like all on about these like shields. That's all he wanted to do was
so
like.
Tariq, did he used to turn up the Tiger with a shield with him and like put it down by the on the mats?
No, he just wanted one. But you know, what was that trip? It was myself coming to corner and our friend Joe Ray. And Tariq, who's Syrian, had a really tough time getting here. Yeah. And so me and Joe Ray were in the hotel for like a week before Tariq got there. He only got there like a day before, like he got there late. He missed the weigh-ins and everything. Showed up, weighed in, and then fought the next day. But yeah, that was the last time I was here.
Mate, he's got trouble going. I mean, to be honest, this whole passport thing, I find it just so strange, dude. That
like
some people have
passports
just
in general.
See that some people have just decided, nah, your one is a bit shit, mate. So I'm not gonna let you go anywhere.
Yeah.
Unless you take 4 months to prepare for it. Like a friend of mine, my previous videographer was Egyptian, right?
Yeah.
And when we used to try and shoot abroad, like we had to plan like 6 months in advance, and you might get it. You never know. You got to pay your shit.
Yeah.
And then you might get it. And I'll just, with my British passport, my colonizer, I'll just be like, yeah, I'll book tomorrow. Don't worry about it. There's still 4 hours left.
It's still good for now.
Yeah.
For now, it's still good, you know.
For now, it's good. Like when everyone realizes, then we're going to get fucked.
But Tariq always had issues.
Yeah.
I mean, Syrian's not the best passport to hold.
Yeah, exactly.
So he always had issues. Every one of his fight camps always had some crazy story, which I just admire. I mean, as like a friend, but just like all of his like fights had like the most insane stories just to get to the fight. And then he
the fight wins, before the fight.
Oh man, his was like always crazy. I was like, if something didn't like happen in his camps, it was like, what's gonna happen, you know? Yeah. So yeah, that was the last time I was here, but now I'm here. Yeah, excited. It's really hot. Yeah. But yeah, it looks quite different in 12 years.
Dude, a lot changes in that time.
A ton has changed. But yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, and then I mean, you just missed out on the UFC and ADXC. Yeah. That was a few weeks back. I think 2 weeks back.
Who was the main event on that?
It was Usman versus. I've been blanking for the last 25 minutes, as you can tell. Like we've been literally sitting there talking.
We're supposed to like know about MMA.
Yeah, right. And we've been blanking on every name we've been thinking about.
Corey Sandhagen.
That's the one.
Yeah, Corey Sandhagen.
How did you feel about the whole Ferguson thing?
Tony Ferguson?
Yeah.
Him fighting in general?
I mean, yes, and just that. I mean, there was like, that's going to be his last fight unless he does something special. And then he comes out and look, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
The crowd was all Ferguson. Yeah. Like people were loving him out here. Partially was a weird thing because the Abu Dhabi crowd was a bit weird. So they would spend round one cheering for one person and then round two cheering for the opponent. So it was like, yeah, you're kind of just here for a good time. So you're not really like into it. But like they gave him a lot of love when he came there, and It wasn't how I want to see him leave if that was his last one.
Yeah, but I mean, to be fair, like anyone who's watched Tony Ferguson, he sounds crazy sometimes. He sounded really good leading up to this fight, actually. Yeah. Like his the pre-fight press conference, like he sounded really good. And kisses, at least he choked him out. It's better than getting beat up or like knocked out, so
he sounded really good, but I don't know whether that was respect for the fighter or respect for the Abu Dhabi police, because out here we don't mess around, bro.
Yeah, that's true.
You can't be doing that dumb shit in the UAE.
Yeah, that's true, right? Wasn't Nick Diaz supposed to fight here? And that was probably a good thing that didn't happen.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's always those things. Like I was having a conversation with someone the other day and I was like, I don't think I want to see Conor come back. Like after the losses he's had, and after what he did for the sport, and when he was on top, he was the man.
Best. Watching him was amazing.
I wouldn't want to see him come and lose again.
Yeah,
because he's not going to take it nicely or lightly.
No,
and he's then going to be like, "You little faker, I was it."
Yeah,
you know what I mean? He'll probably say some shit that would be like, and I'll be like, I'd love to see him come back and smash it.
Sure.
We can't keep seeing the same shit happening,
it's getting tired, Like I was, man, when he was coming up and like that rise, that was like a special time. Like it was amazing. You can never bet against Conor because his ability to like make these moments happen, but it's just getting a bit tired now, and that's just,
It's a strange one. So, okay, let's talk about have you been on a lot of podcasts?
A few.
So people already know your journey to Thailand and all that stuff. We'll get into it now. Was it because you're American, right?
Yeah.
Were you like, yo, let's go to Thailand and party, kind of thing? And it was just like...
It was something like that. I grew up wrestling as a kid. I trained jiu-jitsu for a long time, and I was already a blue belt, and I knew I wanted to fight MMA, but I was in university. I wanted to finish university. And I did my last semester of university was in China. Just random. Wow. Yeah, it was just random. Like they had like an exchange program. So, and then when I graduated from school, I was like, all right, let me go party backpack Thailand. I had like a backpack, man, and a backpack. And I was like, all right, but I want to fight MMA. I was like 22. I was like, I want to fight, like, I'll go back to the States, get a job. I'll fight MMA.
Well, I want to stop you there.
Yeah.
Why did you, because I'm always interested as to what happens in a man's life where he goes, I want to get punched in my face.
Yeah.
I mean, also to punch somebody else in the face, but what is it that, because not a lot of people, you put a random person just from Gem Pop in a spa for one round, they're never going to want to do it again.
A minute, 30 seconds.
What is it that clicked in your head that made you decide this is something that I want to do on a regular basis? And also, we both have the same nose.
Sure.
So we have to be extra fast.
Oh
like to get out of the way, do you know what I mean? Well, that was, we're like targets, bro.
Yeah,
like,
we'll save that story for that. That was another story when I broke my nose. That was crazy, but and still looks pretty good, depending who you ask. But I think I had like a very normal American childhood. I played all sports, soccer, football, basketball. But I'm small, I weigh 145 pounds now. I'm 5'6", so I was always small. And when I was like growing up and getting older, those sports are harder to play: basketball, football. And it's just like a random way that I found it. It's my best friend when I was like in 3rd grade. Randomly I got in. He did gymnastics.
Okay. Yeah. Why did you put a smile on your face like that?
Because
there's nothing wrong with gymnastics,
I remember this. I was in 3rd grade. I swear to God, I remember this. And he did gymnastics, and he would do backflips at recess. Sick. And all the girls liked him. Yeah. Yeah, 3rd grade. And I was like, I want the girls to like me too. Yeah. So I did gymnastics with him. And his dad was the coach of the wrestling team. So we got into wrestling. And then because of the weight classes, that just evens the playing field. So as I was like growing up and I realized, okay, these other sports weren't, basketball was a lot tougher for me being a small kid. The weight classes of wrestling really even the playing field. And, my brother was always, I had an older brother as well, but when he was trying to beat me up and wrestling was how I can beat him. So I think it came from, I guess, like the small man's complex, and realizing, okay, I'm still athletic and I want to do sports, but the weight classes even the playing field. Yeah. So I got into wrestling pretty early. And I always thought you know, when you're a wrestler, you always, you know, think you're a bad dude, even when you're young, you know, because it's
we grew
combat.
up on WWF and WWE as well.
Yeah, sure. It's unarmed combat. You know, it really is. I mean, I look back now and think about how fortunate I am and like the American school system that this is just normal. I could go to school every day and I could wrestle with my friends. I mean, it's pretty crazy.
Did you wear the spandex?
Oh yeah, of course, the singlet.
Okay, so what was that? Because I've spoken to many wrestlers before. We can put a picture up, right? Of you and
I got some
of many of them. Like I was speaking to Eric Barrison, Captain America.
Yeah, sure.
And he was telling me about the first time when he was like, oh yeah, I kind of like this kind of thing when he first started doing it. And then they were like, all right, put this on. And he was like, hold on a minute. What's this shit?
You know, it's weird now. Like, I mean, I don't know the last time I've worn a singlet or like wrestled with someone in a singlet, but like you're just nothing. It's just like, it's super weird.
I think as to pay homage every Friday night, you should kind of put a singlet on and just walk around Bangtao.
Yeah, maybe. But sometimes like people come to the wrestling class at Bangtao in like a singlet and you're like, all right, come on, man, like put on some shorts. But yeah, so I mean, I got into wrestling really young and I always had that like, you know, that does fill your ego a bit and it gives you confidence, and being a smaller person, that's like really big. And at that time, so I graduated, I was in high school from 2004 to 2007, and that's when MMA was still on the fringes, but it was, I think the Ultimate Fighter was 2005, 2006. And at that time in that era of MMA, it was very wrestler heavy. I mean, it's still obviously very wrestler heavy now, but a lot of these American collegiate wrestlers were fighting. And so I could see myself in them. So I was like, oh, I'm a wrestler. I could do that. And so I was always interested. And I think it was just like a journey of, honestly, like how much can I push myself and how badass do I think I am? Yeah. So I always like could see myself like in those fighters. And then when I was 18 and I went to college, there was like an MMA gym that like had a big booth on campus, and they're like, hey, come train. And I was like, yeah, I wrestle, you know, like I could do it. And I went with some friends of mine, and they had like played college, or they had played high school football. And so like we went to the gym the first day and they hated it. They quit after the first day, and I loved it. And it was always like just that personal test of like, all right, you know, pretty good at wrestling. I can beat a lot of people. Okay, now I'm doing jiu-jitsu. I can submit a lot of people, but can I do this when someone's trying to knock me out? Yeah. Can I knock somebody out? And it was just kind of that progression of like the test of myself, like just kind of like really like how far can I push myself, and do I have what it takes? So then from there I got into training MMA, and then when I did my last semester of school in China, I went to go backpack Thailand just with a backpack on. I had a gi in my bag and like some board shorts, and we were just, me and my friends, we were partying. And then I spent a month, I flew to Phuket, and that was my goal, was to fight Muay Thai as the grappler to get prepared for MMA. And that was 13 years ago.
Haven't looked back since.
Yeah, it was crazy. I mean, just like just a bunch of different opportunities along the way. And like in that 13 years, so I got to Phuket end of 2011, and I first went to Tiger Muay Thai, and it's not what it is now. It was still like, you know, a decent sized gym, but it's not anywhere to what it was now. That's
what I wanted to talk to you about as well. Yeah.
And over those 13 years, whether it was just right place, right time, I was crazy enough to just stay there and want to do it. I got my foot in the door pretty early, because even back then as a blue belt, you can kind of stand out. I mean, you know, now we see blue belts that can stand out.
Now everyone's a
black belt. Yeah, I mean, but even then, like having, you know, American wrestling background, you know, even though it wasn't a very high level, but having that background. And yeah, actually like my first opportunity was like, I got like a bit of office work. I had a laptop. I graduated from school, and they knew I wanted to train full time. So I did a bit of office work, and all of a sudden I got to train all day. I got paid, and I was there. Wow. And you know, there's obviously a lot of things that happened in that time, but in that time, all my friends became the best fighters in the world. I mean, we're talking Valentina Shevchenko, Peter Yan, Alex Volkanovski, Israel Adesanya, Kai Kara-France. I mean, these are all the guys in this room at that time. I mean, it was kind of crazy then too, because when I was training in those rooms, obviously people are biased. You always think your friends are the best, but I was flyweight, 125 pounds, 57 kilos. And in that room that we're sparring in, I'm sparring with Kai Kara-France, sparring with Peter Yan, Volkanovski's 145. You know, like all these guys are around my weight class. And I'm just like, this is before they were in the UFC, before they were really what they are now. Yeah. And that's just all, it just all happened in a really weird organic way.
That's nuts, dude.
Oh, that room, you look at some...
How has it changed now? So just like you said, Dubai's changed, right, in the last 12 years. When you first went, because I went to Thailand, I think, so I went traveling around the world just like you, backpacking, no shoes on my feet, like arguing with security in airports when they're telling me you have to wear shoes. I'm like, no, dude, I don't have to wear shoes, bro. This is like, I'm free on my spirit, like long hair up to there.
No way. I got to see pictures of that.
Yeah, I got to show you that, bro. Honestly, a picture of me on Monkey Island with like 100 monkeys next to me, like Tarzan. And yeah, Thailand was wild. It was about the same time. So I'm 42 now. I was around about 21. Yeah. So it's almost about 20 years ago. And Thailand was wild then, bro. The full moon parties and you know, waking up in the morning with glow in the dark face paint and all that shit. And they just had weird things. Like I remember Mushroom Mountain. And Mushroom Mountain, I don't know if it still exists today. Yeah. Was this step ladder kind of way up the mountain into this bar on top. What was it called? Was it High Bar? Or no, I can't remember the name on top. And they sold mushroom milkshakes. Yeah. But like the way up and down was so dangerous that sober would have been difficult. Yeah. And people were getting high on mushrooms and coming down there.
I'm sure it's still there.
Like, it was crazy. And I used to think, how did these people, like, I literally saw someone disappear. Yeah. So it was New Year's, full moon party. There was this girl, we were on the beach and she was like, oh, I love you. And I was like, yeah, I love you too. Like, I literally hadn't said a word to her before that, literally. She gave me a kiss and goes, let's go swimming. Took her clothes off and went into the thing. And I was in that two minds because I was sober. I wasn't on mushrooms or high or anything. So my mind was like, if you go in there, you're going to die. And my dick was like, yeah, but she's just gone in there. She's not wearing any clothes, right? So I was like, no, okay, I'm not going in there. I literally saw her waving, dude. And I just saw her get further and further apart. And my brain was going, okay, where's she gone, dude? And she never came back to shore. Yeah. Like I literally was just sitting there for 20 minutes. Have you told
anyone this story? Huh? Have you ever told anyone this story?
I think so. I'm not sure if I have, but
her parents are still worried about her.
Maybe they're still there looking for. No, but I don't know whether she went like that and then maybe met another guy halfway through and goes, I love you. And he was like, I love you too, bro. Probably fair. And disappeared. But she, as far as I was concerned, that's how Thailand was. Like you'd see people, like they have that thing called the Thai kiss, or, you know, when people on the scooters and they've just dropped drunk and they've got bandages all over them. And
the Thai tattoo.
The Thai tattoo. And it was a wild place, dude. So how do you then go from that to, okay, let me focus. Yeah. Let me train. Let me get on it. Yeah.
Well, so, I mean, we did that. I literally, like, that's what we did. You know, I flew into Bangkok. I had a friend from high school partying, doing all that stuff. Went to Koh Phangan, did the parties.
Did you meet a girl on the beach?
Yeah, she's still there.
Fell in love with
she's probably still there, man.
Imagine she's just like an old myth.
Like fuck yeah, right? Yeah. But no, I think that stuff still happens. But yeah, I mean, like the development over that time was crazy. And back then, like, it wasn't. I mean, it sounds crazy, but back then we didn't have our iPhones back then. You know, we had like the little phones, and we didn't have SIM cards.
BBM.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even think I had my BlackBerry. Like when we first went there, we had the little Nokia still. Like it sounds so old to like say that, but that's what we had. Like,
but they were sick. You could change your face and make it blue or red or whatever color you wanted that day.
But like, there wasn't like Agoda and like, you know, internet everywhere. Like it still was that kind of like backpacker kind of vibe. I mean, people still do that now, but it's much easier, I imagine.
Yeah, it's not like it was.
And then the whole road, like obviously the Fight Street, Soi Tayed, where all those gyms are, is quite famous now. It wasn't like that. It was probably 95% of what you see now when I got there wasn't there. But it wasn't as serious. Like we were all just kind of figuring it out. And as we were like fighting, we were like partying and showing up on Monday, like hungover and just doing it again, you know? So like, it wasn't as serious of a thing. And we weren't really thinking about the future of it. We were just kind of doing it. So yeah, how it switched, it kind of just all kind of like happened over time. Like everything grew. You know, MMA grew, Phuket grew, and it just all kind of happened at the same time. So yeah, I mean, it's crazy to look back on. It was a crazy time.
It's crazy, and like you said, you have to have the mindset. See, I love jiu-jitsu, and I've been in sports my whole life. Yeah. But I remember being in Thailand, and I remember cockily walking into a gym with my friends, going, "Man, I'll fuck that little guy up, some little Thai guy, right?" So we went to Spa, and I thought when I was walking up to Spa that everyone was going to be like, Naksu Kao, like it was going to be something out of Kickboxer or Bloodsport. Like I was going to be like, you know, the guy that came in. Mate, that little dude, he humbled me, man. Yeah. Like humbled me to the point that I was like, I'm not even going to chuck it with the old man out here because you never know, dude.
Yeah, it's crazy. Thailand's kind of like that, right? Where like, you don't know.
Never know.
Well, that's just also the kind of sad part about Muay Thai too. There's tens of thousands of these fighters. And, you know, if people think there's not that much money in MMA, there's not much money in Muay Thai. It's like a fraction, right? And so these people who have had like hundreds of fights, they're just, you know, pumping gas or whatever they're doing. And that dude can fuck you up.
It's insane how much people get paid for that, right? The money.
This, like, I've talked about this fight before quite a few times online, but I remember this one fight I had in a super local dingy stadium. I got all cut up and then I won by knockout. I got paid 3,500 baht, which was like $100, but then I had to pay out like 1,000 baht to my trainers and then 500 baht to get stitches. And I think at the end I walked away with like 1,500 or 2,000 baht, which is like 50, 60 bucks.
Wow.
But no, I mean, like, that's, you know, there's still fighters that are just on that circuit that just do that now, that just fight for money. I don't think of Muay Thai as a martial art, really. Outside of Thailand, I think they do. It's more seen like that, but I think inside Thailand, I mean, I could be totally wrong. Right? Yeah. It's just
because even the kids there, you see some ripped 8-year-olds, dude. Like,
well, there's that too, and I mean, whether some of them probably like it and some of them are forced to do it.
Yeah, 100%.
You know, there's no
other way. They got to bring money home
to their parents. Yeah. So, yeah, it's definitely changed quite a bit in Thailand. Obviously, MMA has done so much. Just MMA has done so much for jiu-jitsu and done so much for Muay Thai around the world, right?
Yeah.
I don't think Muay Thai or jiu-jitsu would be nearly as popular without MMA.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, especially in one as well, you know, where you thought there's some serious Muay Thai guys. That,
that's, you know, phenomenal. I mean,
the best of the best,
the best strikers, in the world.
And it's crazy that, like, why do you think it is that they don't cross over to MMA?
Tradition.
Because you look at
stubbornness.
You think that's what it is? Because you look at, I mean, I can name you 2 or 3 Muay Thai fighters, Thai ones, that I reckon could have.
Sure. And, you know, a big passion of ours, like when we were coming up in those early days in Phuket, and a lot of our team now is we wanted to get Thais in MMA, and we did. We actually coached a few Thais that did very well. Loma Lukbunmi, who was part of our team, we got her in from amateur for 0 fights, and she's the first and only Thai in the UFC.
Wow.
We had other fighters, Top Noi, who we got to a very high level, fighting in Ryzen, fighting Road to UFC, doing very well. It is tough because a lot of these Muay Thai fighters, by the time they're 20, they've had 150 fights. It's a lot of damage. It's a lot of training.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they have as much of the desire to go and fight MMA.
Yeah, it's crazy how many fights they actually have, right?
Yeah. And it's interesting to see, like, obviously myself and our team, we were very, very heavily invested emotionally into getting Thais into MMA, but there's not really like a local MMA circuit now in Thailand anymore. There used to be some good promotions. So now there's some kind of irregular. So they're not really pushing Thai MMA
What's the
anymore.
reason behind that, do you think?
The real reason?
The real reason.
Yeah,
obviously.
I mean,
clip this, TikTok, let's go.
No, I mean, MMA around the world is tough business. Being a promoter in MMA, it's very small margins. Any promoter will tell you it's a labor of love. I mean, of course, you could maybe get big enough that the UFC buys you, but it's very difficult. Inside Thailand, there's maybe not so many Westerners that have the drive or the desire to deal with doing it.
Yeah.
So there was some promotions going around that did very well. They got a bunch of guys like really good starts, and we're really having a lot of Thai people fight MMA. But now it's kind of it is kind of a shame that you couldn't name a Thai MMA fighter now.
Yeah. I mean, that was a great story. Now the truth, please.
I just think well, we do have, actually, to be fair, there's a Thai, Peter Daniso. He trains with us. He had a really good knockout in Road to UFC.
There's also corruption, right? Must be a big factor in it, bro.
Of course,
especially out there. It's not like
there's, because of how popular Muay Thai is, there's going to be resistance to MMA. There just is, and if you want to fight that resistance, it's a very hard fight to fight. And if you're a foreigner living in Thailand, do you want to do that? It's really tough.
Yeah.
So we, I mean, we've thought about starting a promotion. We want to, you know, right now we're doing like in-house fights at our gym. Or like we'll do like fight nights, you know, every once in a while.
Fighting for your rent.
No, well, we do want to do it, but we need more. We have a lot of fighters in Phuket, but we don't have enough organizations.
Okay,
and kind of like how the gym as well. I wish someone else would come in and do it, right? I wish somebody would put in like a really good organization, get all of our fighters in, do regular good promotion. So kind of like the gym, if no one else is going to do it, I'll do it. You know, that was how the gym was. You know, I like very passionate, obviously, about like putting together the business and the creativity for starting Bangtao. You know, we did it as a team. It was very much a team, all of us.
But wait, we're getting ahead of ourselves because I want to cover Tiger first before we get there, because how did you get to the position that you were in Tiger?
Yeah.
Which was at the time pretty much known as the biggest
it was, man,
Southeast Asian gym, right?
So
where did you go to the position? Because you were
I was the jiu-jitsu coach. I wasn't the head jiu-jitsu coach. At some point, everyone just left, and I was like the last one standing. You know,
I guess I'm the head now.
I just stay long enough. You know, like you just stick. Hey, that's my message to everyone. If you just stick around and annoy people long enough, you'll just do all right. You know. So it was really just crazy. So I just graduated from university, so I had an American college degree. I had a laptop. I spoke good English. So when I got there, all of a sudden, within like the first month, there was a cameraman, and he didn't have a computer. So they needed to upload the photos to the website. So every day they would just give me the memory card. I had a laptop, boop, and I would hit upload. And then I was an intern. That's what they call me, intern.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden I didn't have to pay for training. And I got my foot in the door. And then a friend of mine, Reem, who actually, I think she lives in Abu Dhabi. I haven't seen her in 10 or 12 years. She used to run...
Iraqi?
Iraqi? Is Reem an Iraqi name? I guess. I'm not sure. Reem Fikri?
I mean, any Arabic name. Yeah.
I think she was Emirati.
Okay.
Maybe. But she didn't want to live in Thailand anymore. And so she used to run info at tigermuaythai.com. And especially back then. Now again, bookings and Google reviews, you can navigate things on your own. But back then you had to email info at tigermuaythai.com, and that's how you booked everything.
Wow.
So she didn't want to do it anymore. And she said, "Hey Alex, I know you want to stay here. You have a laptop, you have a degree, you speak English. Should I put your name forward?" And I was like, "Yeah, put my name forward." And she put my name forward to the Will Elliott, who was the managing director of Tiger at that time. And because I was already an intern, I was already had my foot in the door. He's like, "Hey, you think you can do it?" And I did it. And so I used to run info at tigermuaythai.com. So if you wanted to book to stay at Tiger, you had to email me. And that gave me like a ton of experience dealing with customers, customer service. All of a sudden, all the hotels in the area wanted to be best friends with me because I recommended hotels.
Okay, yeah.
So then
you became tight without knowing it. You were like, have your fingers in so many pies.
No, 100% I knew it.
Yeah.
But it got me. I was able to build my network and talk to people. And I would go train in the morning. I would go sit in the office during the day. I would answer the emails. I would learn a bit of Thai, have some fun, and then I would go train in the afternoon class, and that was it. And that was really my foot in the door. So at that time, then I was able to train full time essentially, and not pay for training. And then I had gotten my purple belt, and I just had another opportunity. There was a friend of mine, Tommy Yang, this Korean fighter. He was coaching jiu-jitsu in Singapore. And especially at that time as well, being a purple belt, a wrestler, you could coach at a gym. And this was at a relatively new gym, so like the level wasn't very high or anything. It was a bunch of white belts. And it was very early after I got my purple belt. He's like, "You want to go coach?" And I was like, "Coach?" I was like, "Oh, whoa." He's like, "You'll be fine." You know, he's like, "Just come over and visit." And I went there, and I just, it was beginner, so like I smashed everyone.
He's like, "They're white belts." You were like, "And I am Thor."
Yeah. And then, but I went over there, and that was my first coaching opportunity. And all of a sudden, like I was getting paid for jiu-jitsu. And even right out of like college, a lot of people don't get jobs right out of college. So like my dad was like, he's like, "I just paid all this money for school." He's like, "You want to what?" And I was like, "I want to stay in Thailand and like get tattoos and like fight people." He's like, "What are you talking about?" But then I got a job, and he's like, "Okay." And then I called him. I said, "Hey, they're gonna pay me to go coach jiu-jitsu in Singapore." He's like, "Really?" I was like, "Yeah." And that was my first coaching opportunity. And but I always did know I didn't want to be in Singapore. I wanted to be in Thailand. So I left there. I was back in Thailand, and the jiu-jitsu program, there was always a black belt in the morning, and the evening was typically a purple belt. Just that's what the level was that would coach. And actually, a friend of mine, Stuart Cooper, he's a really good, actually, he's a very popular jiu-jitsu filmmaker. He's actually filming all the Craig Jones Invitational now.
Nice.
But he talk about like, again, going back to like this group of people that came together at this gym, even to the filmers. It was like a very, very organic group of friends.
Became the usual suspects kind of thing, right?
Yeah. Oh, I mean, it goes even deeper than it. It's really crazy. But yeah, he was the coach in the night class, and he had to go. He had some issues he had to deal with, and he had to go pretty urgently. So at that time, Roger Huerta and Brian Ebersol, both UFC superstars, were were the head coaches, and they said, "Hey, Alex, Stu's gone. Can you just cover the class until we figure it out?" And I was like, cover the off. Okay, sure. And I started covering the class, and it was definitely way too young, definitely not that experienced, but people liked the class. And I had a ton of pressure on me. And even to this day, I still feel all this. I was younger. I didn't have the big accolades, and I was a purple belt. So I was like, I got to make sure this class is awesome. Yeah. So I really focused on like, okay, how can I make this class really good? And yeah, eventually there was just good feedback and people liked the class. And then I remember I made my pro debut and I won by submission. Wow. And I won by submission. And the next day, I mean, there's this, you know, you win your pro debut, you win by submission, you're just like on cloud nine for, you know, and so the next day I'm driving around the motorbike. It's a beautiful day out. I'm just like high on life, probably a little bit high too, you know? And I got a call from Roger and he calls me. He's like, "Hey man, the job's yours." And I was like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, man." And so I guess they wanted to wait to see me fight and see if, you know, how I did. And I did all right. Yeah. And yeah, just from there, it was kind of crazy. And then, yeah, was fighting professional and competing in jiu-jitsu and fighting Muay Thai as well in Thailand. And then working through my belts, got my brown belt. And then, yeah, and all of a sudden I was a coach at Tiger Muay Thai. It was a pretty big deal. And it was just there during like all the heyday of all the people coming through that gym, you know, all the people I just named. And that was really when like the team was starting to form around the gym, and George Hickman came out. George Hickman actually did the tryouts, the Tiger tryouts with Volko. So he was there, Kai was there. I mean, everyone else, it was just starting to form this team. And I was a coach there. I mean, it was crazy. Yeah, and that's kind of how it happened. And yeah, how it led to kind of the next part, you know, we did very good. And, you know, during COVID, as everything shut down, and it gave us a lot of perspective and time. And kind of idle hands is kind of not so good for maybe for the boss, you know, but, it gave us the time and the opportunity. I mean, I think a lot of fighters, they do dream about one day I'll have a gym, you know, and we always said that, we always talked about it, but you know, we had good jobs and we were the coaches at Tiger and everything was good and we were busy and fighting every weekend and coaching every weekend. So there was no time to plan a gym. And then when COVID happened, it was like, all right, well, we're not working right now. We don't know when the world's going to start open. And I got the guys together, George, Frank, and Woody, and I said, hey, it's now or I'm leaving. It's now or never. Yeah. Let's try to do a gym, or I'm going to leave and go to America and do something else. And
did you, in your head, envision that it was going to be to the level of Bangtao, or were you like, let's do it? Were you like, because, you know, us foreigners, Phalanx, we kind of like to come and do things 10 times bigger, or it's not like, you know, other people are like, let's do something small and see how it works out. We're like, no, let's get investment. I know. And you know what I mean?
Well, I mean, you know, I never would have like even thought about or brought up the idea if I didn't think it would be successful, right? I wasn't like, okay, I'm going to put this out into the universe and then not do it. So of course I thought it was successful. I also realized too, like all those times we were at Tiger and Phuket, people were outgrowing it. You know, Volko had left and he was going back. He was training at City Kickboxing. He was training Australia. He was spending a lot of time in City Kickboxing, New Zealand. So he kind of outgrew the Phuket life. Brad Riddell, same thing. You know, Brad Riddell was our kickboxing coach back in the day, huge part of our team, and eventually he outgrew it. And then
you get married and you have kids and stuff. Everything changes perspective, right?
Well, it wasn't even marriage and kids. This is before that. This was in the peak of their careers. They were thinking, okay, like what's the best situation for me to be in? Yeah. And they chose that it wasn't really full time to be there. They all went, you know, this was also the heyday of City Kickboxing as well. And so when that team was on the rise, and that's very funny, that's like our sister team. A lot of people that really know us or know them know that we're very, very much intertwined. So they had all kind of left and started doing these really great things. And, you know, while we were still proud to be coaches, it was like, man, like, you know, we want to get to their level. Look, our friends are world champions and look how much money they're making and look at like how they've really taken their lives to the next level. And it was really like that. It was like, man, like I told the guys, I said, we would be stupid if we don't do this. Look at who our friends are. Look at who our friends are right now. And if we don't start a gym, we'll forever regret this. I think we have to do this. It was, for me in my head, once we like made that decision, it was like, we have to. And So yeah, I never would have like even like brought it up if I didn't think it would be successful. I really did think it'd be successful. I remember George Hickman, he wanted to start small. You know, we laugh about it now. He wanted to start with like a little small thing and then grow and then grow. And I just kind of pushed it to say, hey, let's do this properly.
Really good,
And man, that was such a funny experience. Like looking back on, and I still have all my old notes and everything. I've dated everything and anticipated expenses and to-do lists and, you know, all this type of stuff. You know, it's funny to look back on that stuff and see where we are now, but I did always think it'd be successful. But it's
to this level though.
You can't, probably not. I mean,
right? Because
it's crazy.
You could say it's the biggest and, you know, most renowned gym in Southeast Asia now.
I mean, I'd say the world.
Yeah, the world. Yeah.
I'd say we're pretty global. Obviously, I'm very biased, but
I mean, everyone who's anyone.
Yeah.
You have a picture of them in Bangtao, or they've trained there, right?
Yeah. I mean, just this year, obviously, all these people I've named as well. Obviously, Volkanovski came on as a business partner as well.
How was that? When it comes to doing business with friends is not always the best idea. So how did you kind of tightrope walk that?
We were worried about that. I remember from the first conversation that we had, myself, George Frank Hickman, and Woody, and I remember that first conversation that we had of if we even wanted to do this. And Woody was like, "Hey, like Woody was." I remember from the beginning, he was like, "I don't want to lose friends over this," and we all thought that, but it was that was it. We don't want to lose friends, and one thing about like the dynamics of, let's say, 4 people, and we have more owners now, but let's just say the 4 of us boys, 3 is a tough situation, because if there's 3 people, 2 people can gang up on one. And
this is the same as us with our 4 wives, my friend. I know you don't have to explain to me. No, you get 2, they will fight each other. You get another one, she will be friends with her, but not with her. You get 4, everyone's happy. One is cooking, one is cleaning, one.
I mean, when you put it like that, but we are married. It's a business.
It is.
But when there's 3, 2 can easily gang up on one. So the way I've kind of looked at it,
and you can't do anything because it's like a board, right? So if they decide you need to go, you need to go.
But the way I've looked at it now is the 4 makes it easier, because those guys are my best friends. And and I get to say my piece, and we all say our opinions, and sometimes I really have to like dig my feet in, and really, if I really like have a point that I want to make. But if my 3 best friends are saying, "Hey, Alex, we don't agree," then that's it. I'm not going to argue with them. Why would I, even like we've had moments where I really think I'm right, and they say, "Alex, we don't want to do this," and that's it. Why would I?
And it's not 3 random people with their own agendas. Do you know what I mean? You all have the same agenda, really, when it comes to it,
it's
right?
my 3 closest friends.
Yeah.
So, that's one of the things I am really proud of, that like even now, we're been open now nearly 2.5 years. We've been planning it, 3.5 years. Of course, there's a lot of hard discussions. There's a lot of, and when things get big and there's big money involved, there's really tough things.
It's a very short time as well.
Yeah.
To get that big.
Yeah. It's pretty crazy. So yeah, from the beginning, Woody was, very adamant. We all were. We don't want to lose friends over this. And we even thought, okay, how are we going to raise money? None of us have ever, raised any money before, but I'm studying how to do it. I'm reading all this stuff online, wishing I paid attention when I was in school, watching a lot of Shark Tank to learn how to, what do investors want and how do you come up with company valuation? And, we obviously knew friends who had money, who were doing very well, but we didn't really want to go to them for the money. We wanted to get it from somewhere else. We wanted to work with other people. And we did get some really good early investors. And along the way, one of the investors pulled out, and we needed to raise a bit more money. And I forgot who had suggested it. And they said, "Hey, let's talk to Volk." And it was still in the construction phase. And I remember George was like, "Yo, send him a video." And I used to do all the guys have seen all of my videos, and I still have them all on my phone. They're on my phone now, but I would take these videos and do like Alex's video tour, because Phuket was still closed. So nobody can come see it. So I'm taking these like 2 or 3 minute long videos and showing the property, and I'm sending it. And Volk was like, "Whoa." He's like, "I had no idea you're doing it like that." And that was also even before the extension that we have now.
Yeah.
And we pitched to him, and we pitched him the same kind of company valuation that we had, done for our first round. We gave him the same deal because we weren't open yet. And he was also the same thing as well. He don't want to lose friends over this. He's anyone that knows Volk, he's a man of his friends. When he says something, he does it. He always has his friends' backs. And that was a big sticking point was, we're friends, so let's not fuck this up. And they agreed. We came to a deal. And yeah, it's been amazing. You know, not only like it obviously does a lot for the gym. You know, he's, you know,
yeah, for sure.
He was, you know, reigning featherweight champion, greatest of all time in the pound for pound conversation, 1 and 2, switching with Islam. And
but also Volk is a character. I mean, there's certain fighters out there like Ty, Volk, whose stock just doesn't go down whether they win or lose.
Sure. Well,
their character is so strong. They're good guys. You can see it. They're fun. Do you know what I mean? So they get a lot of respect regardless of the numbers when it comes to the fights.
I don't think Volk gets enough respect. I mean,
yeah, he should get more for sure. But I think amongst the casuals and amongst like so there's a lot of people that disrespect based on skill and that stuff, and there's other people that disrespect just based on they don't like them. I think Volk is very likable to the normal
He's
guy.
a good guy, man.
He's very relatable as well. Do you know what I mean?
Like,
you know, the stuff he does, all the pranks and all the kind of things, the press conferences and stuff is wicked.
Yeah, and then even when, you know, you lose a fight, he comes out and just is very honest about things, which a lot of fighters, you know, you can, you know, you look at like the Ronda Rouseys. I mean, their stock completely plummets because they can't just own up to losing a fight. And yeah, so that was a big deal. You know, it was like, okay, we're doing this. We're like, you know, raising all this money. We're bringing in more and more friends. Like, it's a very sensitive thing. And yeah, that was obviously did a lot for us. And very early on as well, right? Like, so we opened up, our grand opening was April 22nd of 2022. And by May, by like the next month, Yuri Prohaska was there preparing for his title fight against Glover Teixeira in Singapore. And so was Zhang Weili. So both of them, I'm pretty sure that's when Weili won the belt.
She's a monster, right?
She's a monster.
I've heard stories about the way she trains.
Yeah, she's awesome. And also just talk about like a nice person. So everything was just very organic. Like none of those people came from Volkanovski or something. Those were just, I think it was Tim Simpson that manages Yuri, and Tim manages Izzy and is friends with Frank. And so he came out and everything was just very organic. We all got along very well. And so right in like the first month of opening up, Yuri Prohaska won the belt. And was not crediting Bangtao, but he was saying to the public, I was training at Bangtao and he has a good relationship with us. And, you know, if you watch Yuri, he's very much about this, whatever, spirituality or omens or whatever it is. And Zhang Weili has a good feeling about us as well. So that happened right from the beginning. So just the way like things organically like took off. I mean, could I have anticipated that? Absolutely not. I knew it would be successful. Like I said, I was the one who's going out and like asking people for money, you know, like a lot of money. And I never would have done that if I didn't think it'd be successful. But there was all these other things that just kind of happened very naturally, and that just really kind of helped us kind of propel to the next level.
So how do you kind of but how do you mediate between there being such stars to such a high caliber training there, and I say normal people, but just the average person training there? How do you kind of make sure that it doesn't get a bit weird? Or
I think, you know, people ask us like, why do they think we're so successful so fast? And I have a lot of reasons. I think the location, we're right next to the beach. I think the branding is really cool. The fighters that associate with us. But I think the best thing that helps us the most is the owners of the gym are also the coaches, and we're the fighters. So we're coming at it from the perspective of, okay, I was a customer at Tiger. I was a fighter there. I was a coach there. What do we want? What kind of clothes do we want to make? What kind of music do we want to make? And that's why, like, it sounds so cliche, but everyone talks about when they come to Bangtao is the vibe. And that's a very cliche thing to say. But it's because we're friends and we're there all the time. The music we play in the class and the way the gym is set up. We're there every single day. And all of us, we love coaching professional fighters. We love working with the UFC stars. We like working with the UFC champs. But we also just as equally like working with beginners and everyone that just comes there to train. This weekend, Frank Hickman, he'll be in the corner of probably Dan Hooker, but he's in the corner of Izzy, I guess, maybe of Kai Kara-France as well. The best guys in the world.
This is a crazy weekend.
Yeah. On Tuesday, he'll be coaching the beginners MMA class at Bangtao. And that's not a gimmick. It's not because he's forced to do it. It's because he loves doing it. And yeah, I think people can see that when they come to the gym. They're like, even people like said to me, like, man, like Alex, like, I got to tell you, he's like, man, like we knew you guys, you know, were the coaches, but we didn't think you'd be here all day. We're there all day long. 8 in the morning till 5:30, 6 p.m. We're there all day long. And it's not just that. I know coaches. I know a lot of coaches, and I know I'm not going to name any people, but I've seen coaches who only
do it. Name them.
No,
do it.
no.
I'm joking. You're like, hey, listen, don't let me, because I will. There's a long list.
You know who you are. You coaches know who you are. But no, but you know, everyone has their things they like to work with. Some people don't want to work with beginners. They don't want to work with normal people. They only want to work with fighters and stuff like that. But we genuinely love it, and I think people can see that. No one's forced to do it. We don't. None of us are forced to coach any of those classes, the beginners classes or whatever. But we genuinely love it, and I think it just comes from passion. And I think that's why the gym is so successful, is because, of course, we can make money and we can have good business out of it, and you know, people can get to know us because of it. But we just love coaching, and I think, you know, and of course, like some fighters will come and maybe it's too busy, and maybe if they're a famous fighter, they don't want to, you know, be around.
That's what I meant. How do you kind of make it so they're not like, oh, can I take a picture? Just can I take a picture? And he's like, man, I'm trying to do my camp here, and you're just like,
I think again, that kind of has what I was trying to answer, was that like it just comes with the culture of the gym, and they do respect. And when we see when we're training, and if we see people like on the wall, we have signs, no videos, no pictures. And if we see them, we'll go up and say something to them. No one's like attacking anybody. It's not like a general manager comes, hey, like cut that out. Like we're just like, hey man, like, is it cool? Can you not feel? And I think they see that. So yeah, I mean, we'll have in like a class, like it trips me out, man. Like my jiu-jitsu class is packed every day. And, I'm looking at the lineup of people, and there's such good talented people and normal people, jiu-jitsu hobbyists, professional fighters, and there's Zhang Wei Li training in the class, you know, and everyone just gets along, and it's a very unique thing, and that's not for everybody. Maybe some professional fighters maybe don't want to join in a class like that. Of course, a lot of fighters have like specific camps and things they're working on.
I'm also worried about a spazzy white belt who just injures them or something by accident.
Of course, but I do think that the well-known fighters that come to the gym, they see us and how we treat everybody.
And they feel safe. They're like, all right, these guys got it covered.
I think that's exactly what it is.
How many members do you guys have?
How many members? It's a constant changing thing, obviously, because...
But roughly, I mean, at one time, how many regulars would you see there when it comes to...
like any given day?
Yeah.
Oh... In any given day, there's probably between like 300 or 400 different people in the gym.
Okay, so leads to my next question. How do you stop everyone from banging each other?
Yeah, fuck.
Because I know that sounds like a weird question.
Fighting or like sleeping with each other?
No, sleeping with each other, yeah. Because like, I know that sounds like a weird question, but I've been in so many gyms, and I used to be a celebrity trainer, and I know how these things work. Yeah. And the higher your belts, the more pussy you're getting. And also like, everyone's just fucking everyone, but sometimes it can go south and it make really awkward kind of things happening, and you know, people talking about he was with her and she was with her, and you know, how do you kind of deal, or do you just...
No, I think it's actually like a fair thing to discuss, and like a local gym, like if you have your local gym in your local city, if things get incestuous, which is hard to stop because, you know, it's your community and your friends, it is how you meet people and you have the same interests, but it's very dangerous in these kind of local gyms because that's, you know, the same 50, 60 people are training there every day. You know, the coaches can't be sleeping with students. There's like this manipulation and all this stuff. But in these kind of like these mega like tourist gyms, there is like a lot of changeover in people. So of course there's definitely things that go on in the gyms. But we do have to make sure that there are things between like, okay, like with different fighters and, you know, not causing problems in the gym. And, yeah, of course that stuff happens.
Do you have any crazy stories of something?
Yes, crazy stories. Yeah, of course we have crazy
Tell
stories.
Me them, bro. Tell me a few.
Yeah, we had listen. I think it'll listen. We've all had a good time. Yeah. You know, we were coaches at Tiger. That came with it perks as well. But you know, I don't want to invite anybody to go, you know, down in the comments to be like, oh man, this guy. But I don't think any of us have a bad reputation in that way. And I am like I'm really proud of my friends. I can look at all my friends and the guys that we associate with and be like, man, these are good guys. You know, none of them are creeps. None of them get like, you know, bad
just
stories
look at
about
your
them.
face. I'm really proud of them. We could have banged them all, but we didn't. We left a few because we're nice.
I didn't say we didn't. I just said we don't have a bad reputation.
Okay. Yeah, we were nice about it. Yeah.
We were nice about it. But, you know, I mean, you know, some people, they come to the gym and they're on holiday and they want to, you know, have that experience.
Do that, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because they're interested in fighters and all that stuff. Right?
Yeah. it happens, but it's a very unique place. And, in a place like Phuket, like you're walking around with your shirt off and people are working out all day and there's a lot of endorphins going
That's
on.
what I mean. And everyone's ripped and everyone's in good shape and everyone's just,
Yeah, it's been a crazy 13 years. Yeah. It's been a good time, but we do have to there have been obviously situations where, okay, they're not the tourist people that are coming in. There's like the local people, and that can cause issues with different things. And we really try our best to keep it out of the gym because that could ruin a team. It's like a virus.
That's what I'm saying. That's like I don't think people understand within these kind of industries how like literally I've known, like I've trained in a lot of different places.
Yeah,
both jits or personal training or just training gym alone. And so many stories of this girl doesn't train here anymore because she and him were doing this. So now she can't show her face in there. Yeah. She has to train in that gym. And this guy was married and then he went the thing and now he can't come here anymore and he's gone to another gym. And it's insane. Like if you know, like, do you remember the show The Office?
Yeah.
If they made like an Office but about the gym and made it about the coaches and the stories that happen, it would be a hit.
It would be like Love Island.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. That's what it is.
Yeah. And I definitely, as gym owners now, we're definitely very much more cautious about all that. Yeah. Just because.
That's what I was saying. Because it's one thing if it's just somebody else's gym and you're just part of it, but when it's your reputation.
Sure. Yeah. So we do. Everyone's not. I would say cautious. That's like a weird way to put, but no, we just
respectful.
And we're getting older, and we want everyone to keep training at the gym. No, we want everyone to keep training at the gym, and we do have to kind of monitor these things. But fortunately, we've never had to really we've never had any like serious situations where it's like cause any problems or anything. But we've had a good time.
Yeah, he'd be like, you have to leave. Well, he has no energy left. He has a fight tomorrow. Leave him alone. Stop banging him.
Yeah. No, it's good. It's good fun.
But here's another thing. On that level,
how do we get on that?
You know how it is. I told you. 1 minute we're going to be talking about aliens. The next one, strippers. The one we're talking about
alien strippers.
Alien strippers.
Yeah. Fuck, man.
How do you keep a place that big clean?
Yeah.
Because staff is a motherfucker.
Yeah. It's really difficult, and it's a touchy subject because you can have really serious situations.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
Really serious situations. And I've been in these gyms for a long time. And at the end of the day, it is impossible to stop. It's a humid environment. There's 300 to 400 people there every single day coming from all over the world, bringing all their little bacteria and all this stuff. Some people don't know. Some people just don't know what it is. Yeah. And you want to shake them and you be like, you have a big giant fucking red spot on your leg. What do you mean? But some people just don't know.
Your kneecap is missing. There's a hole there, dude. Don't come here.
Some people just don't know. Some people hide it. And if we see it, we'll tell them. And we got to say, hey, you can't train anymore. Yeah. Some people hide it. And not that that's right, but I understand, actually.
No, I get it. But it's still wrong, though.
Of course it's wrong. But if someone's there for 2 weeks and they're hiding it.
And they came there just to train as well, right?
So that was their whole thing. I'm not saying it's right. And if we see it, we're very good. And I always tell people in the class too, because sometimes the customers are scared to like approach someone else. I say, if you see somebody, tell us and we'll tell them.
It's a weird one, right? Because like sometimes it's friends. Like I remember we had a situation, I'm not going to say where or who, but one guy had stuff.
Yeah.
And he had like a plaster over it.
Yeah.
And it was like, that plaster's been there for like 3 months now, dude.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? Kind of thing.
Of course. Yeah, we did invest in like we have like one of these big super duper like cleaners that like
just
cleans
hose everyone down after the classes.
And every month we're doing like big cleans and just trying our best. We're trying to get in the best soaps and really just trying to do our best. And what we like try to tell people as well is like we can only try our best and you can only look out for yourself. So you have to try your best, but at the end of the day it's never going to stop in a place like Thailand.
Yeah.
And we just have to do our best.
Do you think it's easier being bigger than a small mat?
What do you mean?
Does that make any sense?
Easier to clean?
Easier for it to not be as prevalent or...
I don't know. I mean, I just think with just the amount of people that we have, it's very hard to stop.
You should just sell antibiotics at the door. He'd be like, here's your new one.
Yeah, well, that's another problem too, because I think in Thailand, a lot of these staph strains, not a doctor, are becoming antibiotic resistant.
Oh, yeah, because a new one comes all the time, right?
Yeah, so, yeah.
Dude, that's crazy. So now, who's there now? Tarek's there, right?
Tarek's there right
today.
now.
Yeah.
I don't think this is like a spoiler alert, but I think he's going to be fighting soon.
Yeah, he's fighting October, right?
I'm not sure if he's announced it, but yeah.
Well, you did now.
Yeah.
It wasn't me. I just confirmed.
We do have, I don't know when this is going to release, but Kai Asakura, he's the Ryzen Bantamweight champion. He's got a big announcement. He's at the gym. He's got a big fight coming up soon. He hasn't announced yet. Yeah, obviously Frank Hickman's away. He's there coaching Israel Adesanya, Dan Hooker, and Kai Kara France.
How'd you feel about that card?
It's awesome. I mean, top to bottom is just like a friend of ours, which is pretty cool. And I love all the matchups.
Predictions?
Yeah, I've always backed the boys.
Yeah.
I mean, I have to look through the whole card. I'm pretty sure Junior Tafa's fighting. I backed Junior Tafa.
Tafa brothers are something else, right?
They're amazing. Yeah, Tafa gang.
Yeah.
They're crazy.
It's like you kind of know that something good's going to happen. Like, you know there's going to be a knockout. You know that they're there to brawl.
Yeah,
they're not
amazing.
like pissing about.
Yeah, Junior and Justin, and there's a bunch more of them, but they're amazing, and they have that knockout touch.
Izzy Duplessis?
Yeah, I give it to Izzy, of course.
How do you see it going both ways? If so, I kind of want to know if you think, if we're saying Duplessis winning, how does he win, and how does Izzy win, in your opinion?
Well, I'll always back Izzy to do anything. I think Izzy's the guy that can make movies. You can make movies out of him.
Yeah, he will make movies.
Yeah, he has that. I mean, I think they already have.
Yeah.
He can do anything. Look what he can. Look at the only person to beat Pereira. I mean, yeah, I think he can knock him out. I think he can beat him a decision. But Dricus is tough. I know Dricus as well. I knew Dricus from, again, the Tiger days back in the day. You know, you've seen this old clip of them sparring. I remember that.
Yeah.
And Dricus finds a way to win. That's where he's most dangerous.
You think it's going to be more of a, if Izzy can keep his distance and keep him off the jab and, keep him
sure,
then it's going to be no problem for Izzy. But if Dricus is smothering, do you think it'll be an issue or no?
Yeah, of course. That's like the classic kind of thing, right?
Because they say that's the only way to beat Izzy is to just get too close to him.
Yeah, do the Strickland style. Yeah. And if Dricus is able to kind of pressure him and, high volume. But yeah, Izzy's keeping his range and his good vision, and he's been hit hard plenty of times. He's been taken down plenty of times. Yeah, it's kind of like that classic matchup. But like I said, number one, I'll always back the boys. And I would never bet against Izzy. Dan Hooker's got a tough fight. He's got Gamrot. Again, that's the kind of classic, like, all right, Gamrot's going to try to take him down, But, man, Dan Hooker, that's another guy. Talk about another guy that, like, I remember from the early days. Dan Hooker was...
He's always here.
Dan Hooker was... I remember when he was fighting at 145, and he was training in Tiger back in the day, and he was, like, so skinny, man. And so I've been following his career forever. He's actually, I'm pretty sure, the first Kiwi that was in. He was before all the rest of the boys. Yeah. He was like, I think he's team captain. He's been there forever. And that guy's, look at his record, his finishing rate. That's one of the best finishers in MMA I've ever seen. People don't, I guess people give him credit, of course, but I don't think they give him enough credit. I think he has like, I think his finishing rate is like 85% knockout or submission. It's insane. So yeah, for sure, I believe in all of them. And then Kai Kara France as well. I remember him.
He's doing some crazy stuff as well now. Yeah,
he's amazing. I remember him from back in the day. He won the tryouts the year before Volko. He won the tryouts in 2013. And and like I said, like these are all these people that we saw from like these early days, and seeing them like rise to this level just gave us the confidence and the motivation to say like, hey, we can do that too. Yeah. And what's cool about this sport, and I guess any sport, but there's always going to be like the athletes or the fighters that rise to the top, but there's all these other people that are involved in this industry that, I'm not, I fought for a long time, but not the best fighter, but I can do some business and I can coach.
Yeah.
And, there's this whole ecosystem around it, whether you're a manager or you're starting a gear brand or you're starting a gym or you're coaching or you're the fighter. So yeah, we just saw
the synergy, right? That everyone kind of brings something to the table.
Yeah.
Who's the craziest name that when you walk into the gym and you saw and you were like, oh, hold on a minute.
Training at the gym?
Is there anyone that kind of surprised you? And do they tell you before they're coming, or they just?
Yes. Usually we know before they come. Yeah. But I mean, name them. We've had them, and we still have a list of people that we're working on. I mean, this year, just in seminars alone, this was really cool. Just in January, February, we had Craig Jones, John Jones, and GSP. That was really cool. Tyson Fury came last year as well.
Yeah, I saw that.
GSP was really cool. GSP and John Jones. I mean, those two are in the who's the best of all time is those two. Those are very cool. GSP was that was very cool to see him at the gym wearing this jersey that I had designed and sitting in the office and talking to us, and that's really a guy that like he paved the way for this sport and for the good guys of the sport.
100%. I still think that Kickboxer and Bloodsport were based on him.
Yeah, and I mean those movies as well. I mean those are.
Yeah, I mean they're older than him, but I still think that.
Yeah. It's funny. Jean-Claude Van Damme has a house in Bangtao actually in the area. Yeah. So like people have seen him like at the restaurants and like gone up to him but yeah, I remember I did get that was like a very cool like fanboy moment when GSP was there, and I got to tell him and I said, hey man, like I just want to. It's a weird thing too, and like and so many people are like stroking their egos and all that stuff. Yeah. But the gym does speak for itself. When you get there, even if you're GSP or John Jones, you see it and you're like, what in the fuck is this? This is like a training paradise. And I got to tell him. I did. We had this really cool moment where we're sitting back in our office and we're talking, and I said, hey man, like you're, I have to say, like you're one of the guys that made this gym possible. You inspired me, you inspired all of us. So that was like, that was awesome. And he did a 2-day event. And so we've been doing these things with these big profile fighters where the first day is like a Q&A and a meet and greet. And the second day is a seminar. And the first day he was a little bit reserved and didn't want to talk about too much stuff and said some really great things, of course. I mean, anytime you can hear GSP talk, you listen.
For sure, he's a lovely guy, dude.
Yeah. And then the second day is when you got to really see him come out of his shell.
Like,
and
that's when he UFO when I was young.
Yeah, we didn't bring up UFOs, but he then he started coaching, and that was awesome.
Yeah.
That was like that was like in the flesh, and I got to drill with him, and I got to ask him a question, and he's like, that's a great question. And he got to use me as a dummy in front of the whole class, and I was like, that was like there's been a lot of amazing moments, but like of like really like surreal amazing moments was GSP at the gym. That was pretty cool.
It's really weird. I spent some time with him here as well when he was out here. I think we're trying to bring him over for October as well.
Nice.
For the UFC. Let's talk about the clothing.
Yeah.
Because you guys didn't just make fightwear.
Yeah.
You were like, we're just going to do everything.
Yeah.
What was the inspiration behind that and making all your stuff?
A lot of fight brands and a lot of gym clothes, they look like fight brands.
Yeah.
And they look like gym clothes. And, at the gym I used to work at, I would never wear that stuff to the bar.
Yeah.
I would never wear it anywhere, but at the gym, never. Yeah. And so a big motivation was to make stuff that we wanted to wear everywhere. Like for example, these shirts. Like obviously I'm really inspired by like surf companies and skate companies, and these are just hobbies that I like and things I like to do. So yeah, we really wanted to make like the brand, like even like standalone from the gym itself, and that's been really fun as well. So we have a lot of people that help different designs and do different things. One of the guys that works for us, Louis, we're constantly going back and forth, and he's way more. His skill set's a lot better with like Photoshop and that. Yeah. But I'll have my freedom to come up with my own designs and then work with him, and then be able to come up with our own designs. But it's super fun now. And now that we have so I've always liked making stuff, and I've always liked making clothing and just kind of figuring it out. So like my first ever company that I started was called Sub By Gi. I used to make gis, and I used to, this is early in Thailand. It's like 2012. It was very early when I was there. You couldn't buy a gi in Phuket. You couldn't buy a rash guard.
Oh, wow.
You couldn't buy anything. So I was like, I'm going to make it, And I started putting my creativity and started designing stuff. And, I was just like a broke fighter back then. So it was very hard for me to continue to manufacture stuff with a shitty Thai salary.
Yeah.
But I learned a lot. I learned a lot about manufacturing and design. And then I started a jiu-jitsu tournament. And throughout that tournament, I used a lot of my creativity, even like making shirts and stickers for that as well, and the branding of that. And then having Bangtao now was like kind of the ultimate like creative like canvas.
Yeah.
So yeah, the clothing is really big for us. We want to make everything. We want to make stuff that you train in, rash guards and shorts, gloves and shin pads, but we also want to make shirts that people wear to the bar. We want to make sports bras for girls,
Nice.
Yeah, so that's a big focus of ours now. We just went to this big fair in China called the Canton Fair. Yeah, this is amazing, man. This was really eye-opening. Anyone who wants to make
3,000
25,000 vendors.
But how do you?
It was unbelievable. This whole
how
expo,
do you kind of like find someone in 25,000? Yeah.
Oh, it was so I went myself and Will Elliott, who I already named him before. He was the managing director of Tiger back in the day.
Okay.
He actually is now the managing director of Bangtao.
Nice.
So he's like a really great balance with like my creativity and like craziness, and he's like, all right, slow down a little bit. Here's the numbers. Here's what we can do. Let me. We balance each other very well.
Like, calm down, bro.
Yeah, it's very funny.
You're in year 7. We're only in year 3, really.
Yeah. But we go back and forth, and sometimes he gets a little excited, and I calm him down. So, but anyways, we went there and just with our notebooks, and we're walking around. We spent like 3 or 4 days there. We could have spent a week there, but that was super eye opening.
But again, how do you decide, I'm going to use this guy when there's 20,000 and they all look very similar?
Yeah.
I'm talking about the clothes now. Hey, guys, I know the comments. I wasn't talking about the people in the booth. I was talking about the clothes, all right? The clothes look very similar. I mean, you're not going to be able to tell by your eye which rash guard is better than the other kind of thing, right?
I mean, touching and feeling, taking notes, taking contacts, talking to the people.
Again, the clothes. Touching and feeling the clothes, not the people, guys. Calm down.
Yeah, we got our hands on.
Yeah, right?
We had to get hands on, you know what I mean? But I mean, looking at obviously the quality and, now doing this more and more, like realizing, okay, what is good quality, what is bad quality, and then realizing who's motivated to work with us. I remember back in the day, I used to like email all these factories and you're getting screwed over on shipping costs and, minimum order quantities. It was very difficult. And then just go through the process of sampling. And so we do that all the time. We're constantly getting samples from factories all over the world, mostly from China.
You ever got anything and gone, yeah, that's it, that's the one, as in very early down, or is it always
Yeah, for sure. And we have to like tweak like little things like, okay, wow, this cut or this material is very good. Now let's just kind of work on the design a little bit. But it's super fun. We constantly like are getting things sampled and bringing to the office, and we're all looking at it and saying, hey, like, what do you think? Hey, it really is like a collective team effort. Like, okay, I'll have like maybe not on everything.
More
maybe,
pink.
Yeah, I love pink.
Yeah, I can tell. Yeah.
Well, I love pink, but like, we're also trying to like not like overdo it. Just like a little bit of pink. But it is very much like group decisions. Like, let's say if for like one piece of clothing, and we all have different things that we're pushing. Obviously, I like to push rash guards and shirts and stuff like that. Come up with some ideas, then we'll bring it, give it to everybody and say, hey, like, what does everyone like? Let's change this, change that, and the clothing is super fun. I get a lot of satisfaction from creating. Like, I love the business part. I do love like the business development and making relationships. But I get so much satisfaction out of like creating something and then seeing someone wear it.
Yeah, you're just walking down.
Oh, it's amazing. It's really cool. And I remember like obviously early in like the early days of the gym, like super early, we knew everyone there training because they were like friends and network. And then like I'd be like at like an airport and I saw someone like wearing a shirt and I had no idea who they were. And I just like didn't say anything. I just like stayed in the back and I was like, that's super cool.
That's mine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Where did the name come from?
Bangtao?
Yeah.
It's the area, Bangtao Beach.
That's it. You just literally just was like.
Yeah, well that's like anyone who's like named anything is probably always like, that's one of the hardest things is how to name something. So we were already going through the process and we were like putting down names and we had a bunch of shitty names. Like
Bigger Tiger. Whiter Tiger.
Yeah. White Tiger. White Tiger. White Tiger. That's pretty funny. Yeah. The white guys. But no, we were like saying a bunch of names like, none of them were very good.
Essence Gym.
Did you say Essence Gym? Yeah. That's so funny because we used to call it Roger Huerta, who was like the guy who like put us kind of all in our roles that we're in now, and we really kind of dedicate a lot to like this experience. We used to call him Essence because he was so handsome. He was like so handsome and like good looking. But we should have named it. But no, we were like saying all these names and none of them were good. None of them were good. And we had to like file this paperwork with the government. They were like, you need to say the name now. And I think it was me. I want to take full credit. I think I did say like, guys, what about Bangtao Muay Thai? Bangtao sounds kind of like a kung fu movie, like ping pong, whatever, ping pong. I don't know. Yeah. And
very racist. I think by now you would have assimilated to the people and the culture, but no, you can't change the color of spots on a tiger.
Well, a tiger.
Yeah.
But no, and then so the best thing is when people ask us, it's Bangtao Beach, and then it kind of really tells where we are. And,
still getting over the Bangtao.
Yeah, for real, right?
Yeah,
but you know what's funny? It's actually not
more of a Batman kind of old Batman with a pow, kapow kind of thing.
No, but exactly, like it sounds like that, you know, like and
yeah, it does sound like a dish,
but it
a noodle
like,
dish. If you're as racist as you are,
we were talking about like a kung fu movie. Now we're talking about like kung pao chicken.
Yeah,
you know,
right?
like you know,
Bangtao chicken.
Bangtao chicken.
Is there Bangtao chicken?
We do have chicken at Bangtao. we're all halal, by the way.
Exactly.
No pork. We do.
Don't complain. Don't complain.
We're all halal.
Oh,
we're actually because actually it is. I will tell you this: people pronounce it Bangtao because it's just the easier way to say, but in Thai it's actually Bangtao.
Oh, okay.
But we actually are in the Muslim area. Of
He's trying to get it back now. He's trying to win it back. Oh no, it's actually Bangtao.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, you got the accent down. Yeah. But we're actually in the Muslim area of Phuket, which was really interesting. Before I moved to Bangtao area, I lived in Chalong, which is where the other gyms are. And 95% of Thailand is Buddhist. And there's like
wait, the Muslim area, isn't that Koh Phi Phi? Or Koh Phangan, one of them.
So islands in the south have a lot of Muslim population.
Okay.
Because they're on the way to Malaysia.
Hey, can you imagine that?
What's that?
They're just like, you know, they're there, they're doing the Islam thing, and there's just like titties everywhere. And bikinis, and they're just like, astaghfirullah, bro.
There is like
who decided to bring these fuckers in? And there's these white people like, kind of thing. And they're just like, you fucking tourists.
I know,
man.
I know. Fucking infidels.
Can you imagine? Yeah,
I know,
bloody Americans.
I know, my bad. But it is an interesting. Most of Thailand is Buddhist, but actually, like there are pockets of Phuket, and in Phuket, like Bangtao is like a Muslim area.
Okay.
And actually, when you call like in Thai, when you call someone like an older person, like older than you call them like P. Like if like I was older, they call me PLX. But if they're a Muslim person, they say Bang.
Okay.
So they call them like Bang Alex or whatever, and that means you're like a Muslim person.
That's Uncle Tao.
Huh? Yeah,
Uncle Tao.
Uncle Tao. Yeah, there you go.
You can see where I'm going to go with this, right? Uncle.
But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, back then, like, that's how the name came up, and it just kind of stuck. And Bangtao Muay Thai kind of worked, and now we're kind of branding it as like people are going to call it whatever they want. Some people call it Bangtao MMA.
Yeah, I've heard it as Bangtao MMA a lot.
Some people call it Bangtao. You know, we have Bangtao Fitness, we have Bangtao Kettlebells. So it's like the official name we have is Bangtao Muay Thai and MMA. Okay. But now we're just trying to brand it as just Bangtao. Yeah. And it's so funny. It's just like, you know, when they say if you have like a good idea, you shouldn't tell anyone because people are going to try and talk you out of it.
They can't now. It's too big, dude.
Yeah. Well, no. So like in the beginning, like we told some people the name, like that sucks. Like like that, we showed them the logo and they're like, that sucks too, you know? Yeah. So we just, we had to go with it and we went with it and it worked the way it worked. And
nice.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Okay. Here's a question. How do you, as a business owner, and at the same time not wanting to be a cunt.
Yeah.
When you see someone who, because you get this a lot in the fight world, where someone dreams a dream that just isn't his dream.
Yeah.
And they don't want to stop.
Yeah.
And they really believe that they're going to make it.
Yeah.
And they put everything they got in it.
Yeah.
And they're wasting years of their life. I can see the pictures of the people in your head coming up as I'm saying this stuff.
Yeah.
I can see that you're getting their pictures.
You can't see the name, can you? You can't read my mind. Don't say them out loud.
Right? I'm not going to say it, don't worry. And you're just like, this isn't for you. How do you split between being a business owner going, yeah, well, he pays to come and train here and thinking.
How do I do it?
Yeah.
I compartmentalize. I just say I'm the jiu-jitsu coach and I make George Hickman do it. I say, you're the head coach.
But you do it though. You do go to some people.
That's in all seriousness, that is a tough thing. And
because it's hard, right? To tell someone you've already wasted 10 years, don't waste any more. But I just wasted 10 years. I might as well waste a couple more. Like,
it's extremely hard. And most things that you put 10 years into, you get a degree or you get something. And fighting is a really...
You just get ugly. Like you
just get uglier and dumber. Yeah, you get uglier and dumber, you know? Yeah. So it's, there's a lot of different types of people that are drawn to fighting. And some of them smart, some of them are less smart, and some of them don't have other options. And don't have the ability to leverage that into something else, whether it's coaching or a gym or a clothing brand or whatever. And that is very difficult. And there are people that hang on to this dream maybe a little too long. And it's a very dangerous dream. You know, it's a very, very dangerous dream where you're putting your health at risk. So for sure, I think anyone that's been in fighting for any number of years has seen it. And you know, as a coach, and we've seen, you know, you can see very early, you can see the young amateurs that have it, and then you can, you know, that can do very well, and then you see some people that just don't, and that is a hard conversation. And some people have an impressively false sense of their own abilities, which I'm like,
you know, there's a stat out there that it's like most men, the majority of men in the world,
they can win a fight or something.
No, yeah, no, but the level, what is it? It's like they think they can fight 7,000% more than they actually can. Like the level of how well they think they can fight compared to how they actually can. It's a huge number, that thingy.
But that makes more sense if you've never been in a fight. The thing that confuses me is the people that
have, and still,
the people that are there doing it every day and aren't able to win.
Yeah, but they're waiting for that moment in Rocky. You know, when the music changes and it goes, yeah, it's just never gonna come.
It is a tough one, and you know, especially when like you're on the mats and you're training with all these other people that are doing very well, and they're you know, it's hard to not compare to them or see their story or be jealous or whatever it is. But
is it like X Factor? Like, you know, when you get that person that really can't sing, you're like, don't they have any friends that tell them that they can't sing? Like, don't they have friends that tell them, listen, you need to pack it in?
I think some people need better friends.
Yeah.
I wish I had the self-confidence that some people have, you know, I mean, like, which is okay, right? Like, you don't, you know, not everyone is going to be the best fighter in the world. But that is a difficult thing. And, you know, we'll just put on George. I'll say, you're George.
Yeah.
I'll say, George, you handle it. But, you know, even me, like, you know, I did all right. I had some good fights and did well, and I enjoyed competing. And, but, you know, I'm not, you know, you asked me earlier before we started, you know, are you still fighting? You know, I'm 35. I had some really great experience. I got to fight all over the world. I wasn't the best fighter, but yeah, I went out and did some really good things. And, I always had my foot in something else.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, though. You have the business and that
was why I think that was what helped me stop fighting, because man, I think about it all the time. I wish I'd go back and fight for sure. I miss it. I love it. But not only with like getting older and all the injuries and not able to train as hard as I used to train, you have to be, especially now, you know, maybe 10 years ago, you could be a specialist or you could.
Oh no, now you're fucked, bro.
Everyone is so fucking good, man.
Yeah,
everyone is
everything.
so good. So if I was to fight, I'd have to drop everything, not coach, not business, wake up, train, sleep, eat, train, sleep,
There'd
eat.
be a lot less pink t-shirts going around, bro.
Yeah, and I like my pink shirts. So yeah, I do get, and what I'm grateful that, you know, my sport is jiu-jitsu. So when I coach, I get to roll every day, and I get to roll very hard, and I get to roll with like the best fighters in the world, and I get to get that competitiveness.
And if you choose to fight again, like ADXC coming up, one of those ones, it's like there's less chance that you're going to come out of there hurt.
Oh, of course.
Do you know what I mean? So it's like, it's beautiful. Like,
for sure. I definitely want to compete in jiu-jitsu. Since I've started the business, I've had the opportunity to do it occasionally. You know, obviously when I have like a lot of things going on, I just can't. Which that was like a pretty fun one. I remember like end of last year, I was really stressed. There was just a lot going on, personal, business. It was a lot. And then there was a jiu-jitsu tournament in Phuket. And then like a few days before, I was like, I'm going to do it. And then I was like, fuck. I was like, well, I already said it. I can't back out now, you know? And it was a nice personal test, and I actually competed really well. Nice. I did really well at that time. So I still, obviously I'm grateful for jiu-jitsu for many reasons. And I love, but I love the fact that I can go there every day and roll hard, get that competitiveness, still kind of get that good feeling, feel the ego a little bit. And if I can, I'll go out and compete for sure.
Sick. Bro, do you feel like there's anything that we missed out?
Oh yeah, man, I think we could talk for hours.
Keep going,
to be honest,
bro. Let me know, because we're on an hour and a half now, bro. So
I don't know. I think we get some good chat, but
whatever's they can do more. Obviously, we're not going to tell them about the new podcast that we're starting.
No.
But you'll see us vlogging in Bangtao very soon for sure.
We can't talk about the business we're starting in Dubai. But,
right.
But no, we have. I mean, I just think with the whole gym, like we are like super like we're very energetic about it still. We're like very excited. There's a lot more we want to do, and yeah, we're just having a good time.
The world, Chichi, and everything in it.
Yeah, that's it, right? Yeah. No, we're just having a good time, and I'm just super grateful for it all. I'm super grateful for the people that have come around us, and just the people I got to meet. I mean, it's like super surreal. And you know, it goes back to like me thinking about coaching as like a purple belt, where I was like, oh fuck, I'm not good enough to do this. I better fucking try really hard. I feel that now.
Like imposter syndrome, right?
Yeah, I feel that now. I'm just like, fuck, I gotta make sure my class is really good. I gotta make sure the deals that we do are really good.
I hope no one realized I've been winging it for 3 years.
No, hey, I have been winging it. That's it. But that's what I tell people.
That's
man.
why anything is good and successful, and someone that loves it, bro, you just wing the shit out of it.
That's what I tell people, and I had some good people that mentored me, like, you know, all of my life, and they just said, yeah, man, like we're all doing that, and that's the truth. Anyone who's done anything just had the belief and was a little bit crazy enough to.
I think the best things come out of winging it in life.
Sure.
Like I was having a conversation with someone the other day about the episodes. So they were like, oh man, I didn't know you were such good friends with this guest, blah, blah, blah. I was like, bro, I met him 3 minutes before the episode. Bro.
Yeah.
Like I just winged the episode. Like when you try too hard and you put too many in, it's like, I've got a list of questions and I want to ask. That's not how life is. Life is just like, let's fucking see what ends up coming up. You know? And then we end up talking about STDs on mats and stuff, like, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, like, really, like, I do feel like I have a lot more like things I want to accomplish in my life and things I want to do, just personally, professionally. But I do like, if I can like tell anybody, I do like now. It's such like a weird thing. Like I'm only 35. I still feel very young, but you know, I'm a little.
Bro, stop saying shit like that. I'm 42, bro. That's very disrespectful, bro.
No.
Like,
no, but that's young. No,
I'm only 35. I'm still young. Like, you are still young, bro.
I know I'm still young, but
I'm still young.
But
bro.
Looking at like fighters coming up now, like I am older than them. Yeah, you know, they're teenagers. They're 20 years old.
Good save. Yeah,
they're 20. They're like in their 20s, and like you know, I've met some like fighters at the gym, and they're asking me, hey man, like I want to live here full time. Like, what's your advice? And you know, like, where should I fight? What should I do? And I'm like, how old are you? And they're like, I'm 22. And I say, listen,
you got another 20 years, bro.
No, but I tell them, I say, I came here when I was 22. I said, if you keep doing this, you can own your own gym. And they go, they don't really like, I think if someone had told me that 10 years ago, I probably not have believed it. You know, I feel like, you know, actually to be fair, like pretty early on, I'm not going to lie, pretty early on, I did think I can do a better gym, you know, but that was just, I don't know. I thought I could.
Sometimes you just know, dude.
Yeah.
How does it work when you get these stories, right, in movies? Hey, coach, I can't afford to train, but I got a fight coming up.
Yeah.
I'll clean the gym. Do you ever get any of those stories where it's just like
every day?
Yeah. And how do you go? Okay, wait, spar a couple of rounds first. Let me see if you're actually any good.
Yeah.
And then...
Well, I mean, that is a really good thing about us being the owners of the gym is we do have final say on how that stuff works. So,
but how do you separate between someone taking the piss and someone genuinely needing it?
Yeah, that's a really good question. And you know, when people do come and you know when they let's say they want to like we don't really know them too well, we have to say, hey man, you have to put in your time first. You got to pay for your memberships. You got to go fight because we'll pay attention and we'll take. You know, we'll notice that you're here, but everyone asks us this all the time. So, but I think we do genuinely really care about the people that come. And, you know, you try to suss out, okay, what are these people's goals? What are their intentions? Do they come for money? Do they have the ability to work? You know, are they, you know, what's their potential? Are they a good teammate? Are they a good student? But yeah, you know, it sounds like obviously I love the business. I love, you know, we can make money out of it, but like to be able to make an impact in these people's lives is like, it's pretty priceless. It's pretty crazy. And we have had some like young people that come through and we, give them sponsorships.
It's a beautiful thing to be able to do, right? Like a friend of mine, he owns, I don't know if you've been following Karate Combat.
Yeah, it's awesome.
So he owns a goat shed.
Yeah.
Asim.
I saw he was just out here.
Yeah. He has people that sleep in his gym.
I saw that.
Like literally. And he has one guy called Freddie Masabo who lived under his cage, bro.
I saw that. Yeah.
He lived under his cage, bro.
Yeah.
But he was so good that he was just like,
it's pretty amazing. And for us to be in a position to like give back, obviously like this industry and the sport has done so much for me, so much of my life. Again, not just the financial, but just my confidence, the people I've met, the way I hold myself. You know, if we can pay that forward and try to like give all the lessons that like we learned, you know, not that we didn't have people helping us along the way or people that mentored us, because we did, but you know, in these early days in Phuket, like we were definitely just winging it. Nobody was really telling us what to go. Like we were just like taking fights on short notice and like, you know, like figuring out training along the way. And, you know, now that we are a little bit older than these younger fighters that are coming through, we're trying to give them the best everything that we wish that people had given to us that we're trying to pass on to them. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. It sounds such like a cliche thing to say or whatever it is, but like I really believe that gym martial arts can change people's lives. 100%. I've seen it with my own eyes. So anytime someone has any opportunity, like I love seeing that. That's a really crazy thing. Like at these type of gyms, I think I said this to somebody and I said this to people before, and when you actually think about it, it might be true. I've been coaching at these type of gyms now for like 10 years. And the amount of people I've coached, just because if you look at the class sizes, 60, 70 people, even through all the years before Bangtao, the amount of different people that I've coached through the gym is almost maybe more than anyone ever. Yeah. No, I know. Really, ever.
Yeah.
Not, I'm sure there's these Brazilian black belts that have been black belts for 30 years, but they haven't coached thousands and thousands of people. Yeah. And the ability to like, sometimes it gets hard at these gyms, like where I don't have like my full permanent team that's local all the time. We have a lot less of that, but we do have people that are either passing through or people that I just got to teach jiu-jitsu to for like a first time. And I get to like spread a little bit of my jiu-jitsu to them, and it spreads out to the rest of the world. It's like really cool, man. I remember at Bangtao, we met this kid that came to the gym. He told me he trained with me when he was a white belt at Phuket Top Team like 12 years ago, and I was a blue belt, and he was really new, and I smashed him. And ever since then, he decided he wanted to be a black belt. And he came, he came to the gym, and he was like, I had to tell you that story. I didn't remember him. And he was like, yeah, man, I remember rolling with you. And after I rolled with you, I decided I want to be a black belt. And I was just like,
that's crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
And again, the relationships you have, like I'm sure like people like Tarek and stuff, if you were like, listen, I need you to coach this week. Yeah. He's gonna be like, all right, cool.
Yeah, man. Me and him, I think we were both blue belts at the same time. We're both fighting and coming up at the same time, and I've seen his entire journey, and I'm like, I've already said it, I'm such a big fan of his, like other than being a friend. But yeah, now he's a black belt and he's at the gym, and he's done it. If I just take off or something, and he'll be like, yeah, I'll cover the class, no problem. And seeing him and opening his gym here, and yeah, it's a crazy journey. And I do remember like very early on when I started training, my coach, the guy that actually gave me a black belt, Josh Hanger, he was my coach as a white belt, gave me a blue belt. And I remember we went to this tournament in Vegas, and I was so new to the sport. And we went to this tournament in Vegas, and he was like, everyone knew him. Everyone's saying hi to him. And I was like, man, who is this guy? Why is he so cool? And he said to me, he was like, one of the coolest things of training is seeing who sticks with it. Because then eventually you're all black belts. And then you're all, you have the clothing company, you're all coaches or the fighters or whatever. And yeah, just the relationships I've been able to make along the way is like, it's pretty incredible.
Oh, that's crazy, dude. Dude, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you here. I know we've got a few more episodes coming up that we're gonna do part 2, part 3.
Yeah, sounds good.
Tarek's trying to drag me to Thailand, but like most people would say, come on holiday. He's trying to get me to move there, and I'm like, bro, calm down. I've got like 19 kids, bro. It's not as easy as you think, bro. Kind of thing. But we'll be there soon, for sure, and hopefully you'll be back in October. Yeah. For a crazy card.
Yeah, that's a good week. So
it's gonna be a sick one. But dude, wishing you all the best, bro.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for coming down and taking out the time. And you'll see me in Bangtao, bro. I'll be one of those guys like, I didn't exchange money, so if I could train for free this week, it'll be great.
Nah, you'll be one of the guys causing problems on the mat. With all the...
right.
Yeah, we'll be all right, man. Dude, yeah, I appreciate you having me on.
Thank you so much, man.
Appreciate it.
Got it. Boom.
Sick.
Dude, that was a lovely episode, man.
I appreciate it.
Do we have the camera? Yeah, so we'll just do some dummy shots and stuff as well.